Hey, Luke.
Hey.
So I've been checking out this thing
Yeah.
called the Frontier X.
Aha. Yeah.
You saw that come through here.
Yep.
It's a wearable strap that
Mm-hmm.
you put on, and you wear this when you exercise,
Yeah.
run, bike, anything that you might want to do
Right.
physically to track heart rate, breathing,
Mm-hmm.
cardiac strain, things
Yeah.
like that.
Mhm.
So I'll tell you a little bit about it.
Tell me all about it.
Before I do, if you're listening for the first time or watching for the first time,
Yes.
we would appreciate it if you gave us a like
Yep.
or shared this,
Mm-hmm.
or when it's over, if you subscribed.
Yeah.
If you like it and want to see more, subscribe. All those things, any of those things help us out. So this thing, the Frontier X, this guy runs about $4.99.
Okay.
So it's a very niche kind of product.
Sure.
It's not an everyman kind of like $150 off the shelf. I'm gonna track,
Yeah.
It's not a wearable. It's not, we've got $50 watches that come in here that are,
Sure.
Fitness trackers. This thing is really, and the more I play with it, the more I realize it's above what I need,
Uh-huh.
what I use.
Mm-hmm.
So about 2 months ago,
Mm-hmm.
I started doing workouts about 3 days a week.
Yeah.
And about a month ago, maybe a little less, I started to incorporate this Frontier X as
Yeah.
part of that.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to see, like, I knew I was getting my butt kicked at this, CrossFit stuff.
Yeah.
I'm breathing like crazy.
Yeah.
My heart feels like it's going to beat out of my chest.
Yeah.
Let me see that with numbers.
Yeah. What does that actually look like?
Yeah. And so I was excited to try this thing out.
Yeah.
And I really like it.
Yeah.
It is something that may be a little bit more than what I need,
Mm-hmm.
because I've seen other ones that you can get.
Sure.
But this one, I'll tell you a little bit about it. It comes with two straps
Mm-hmm.
that you basically have this little guy that, you snap onto the band, and it's got a little button,
Mm-hmm.
and you pair it to your phone,
Okay.
Bluetooth.
Yep.
There's an app. You log in, and you basically can start to track your activities. If you
Mhm.
say, I'm going to cycle, or I'm going to do circuit training, or I'm going to do a run.
So you tell it what kind of exercise you're doing.
Yeah, and you can also change it post,
Okay.
because the first time or two, I'm one of those guys who I'll figure it out. I'll use it.
Right.
If I have any questions.
Learn by doing.
Yeah.
Sure.
I don't need to read. I don't need to go through tutorials until I need to.
Right. Yeah.
So I found out that, or wrongly assumed that I could just basically wear this thing and it would just track.
Gotcha.
So a couple things about that. You can start the activity with the app.
Mm-hmm.
It will track. It will want to stay connected to that. So if I'm putting this phone in the locker and I'm going about doing these different things, I might get out of range. You can start exercises and track them independently. And then when you connect it or reconnect it, it will sync up
I gotcha.
those
Okay.
activities.
Okay.
So that's what I do.
Uh-huh.
I'll go to the gym, put it in the locker, have that thing on, and there's the button.
So it's kind of like an offline mode almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll press it twice,
Mm-hmm.
and you'll feel it vibrate,
Mm-hmm.
and then it's basically recording. Because I go every other day,
Yeah.
it was frustrating a time or two to find out that I didn't get it to record.
Sure.
So I lost connection on the one.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought, well, let me see if there's a way to do this where I don't have to be connected. Surely this has memory in it that I can record something and then sync it later.
Right.
That's the case.
Yeah.
You can also, you don't have to tell it what kind of exercise you're doing. You just do that and it records everything. And then when it's done, you sync it up. You can see this output in graph format, and it looks really nice.
Yeah.
It's very helpful
Yeah.
to kind of see exactly where your heart rate starts to go.
Yeah.
And there are different ranges
Uh-huh.
that are going to be like color coded, like blue, green, yellow, orange, red.
Mm-hmm.
And you're within ranges, and you kind of earn points. I'm not sure what they call them, but so you get like a goal of 750 points in a week. And I'm, the first one that I recorded, I was like, oh my gosh, I did 44% of my workout.
Right.
This workout gave me almost half of my goal for the week.
Mm-hmm.
Then you kind of drill down into it and you can see like, well, that's obviously the warm up, and that's when we really got going.
Yeah.
And you can kind of look individually at heart rate. You can look at strain. You can also see there's a cadence.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're running, you can kind of keep an eye on your cadence, breathing, and then you can kind of overlap them to see if they're in sync with each other.
Sure.
It will vibrate as you're using it to let you know if you're getting into ranges that are maybe elevated.
Yeah, dangerous.
Yeah.
Possible.
And there are some defaults, and I just kind of let those go.
Yeah.
But I imagine that if I'm older or more prone to some kind of like heart conditions or some concerns, that I'm working with a doctor or somebody who can kind of interpret this data, you can log into their website and see each workout, but then you can also drill down into like ECG.
Oh, wow.
Like there's a 24-hour monitoring too. So if I just put it on and started wearing it, you can share that.
Yeah.
And people can see and watch your electrocardiogram. It's interesting data. You can see, there are lots of different charts that are output by this. So it would be very helpful for me as somebody who's really just kind of getting into working out. It might be a little bit more than I'm able to kind of manage.
Sure.
Or I don't have anything where the app comes up and says, hey, you really need to keep an eye on this, and here's what you do to do that.
Right.
This thing runs about $4.99.
It's a little expensive.
So I did have an issue or two with the sync. After a workout, I was really wiped out, and I thought, oh man, this is probably going to be another one of those, like probably 50% of my goal just in this one workout alone.
Right.
To have it sync and not find the activity was very frustrating.
Sure.
But once I got it figured out, I basically, and I didn't really do anything special. It's just I kind of understood double tap, start it, double tap to stop it, sync it. I feel like I just lost one of them somehow.
So tell me a little bit about wearing it. Is it comfortable? Is it hard to get used to? Does it get in the way?
It doesn't really get in the way. So each time I do my workouts, there's something different about that.
Sure.
Sometimes it's, if I'm doing like a barbell, I might, and I actually did hit it one time because I was trying to keep it so close to the chest. It'll pop off. The two little snaps are like raincoat snaps or buckles.
Yeah.
Snap it back on. The strap you can adjust. You get two of them. There's a black and a red one. I think you get two of them.
Just color preference. It doesn't do anything different.
And if you get sweaty, it's nice to have one that you can switch out while you wash the other one.
Sure, right.
It is comfortable. You can kind of wear it just right, just below the chest, like right about where your heart is. It's thin, so you're only looking about maybe an inch.
Yeah.
It's light. Once it's on there, I kind of forget that I have it.
Okay.
It is nice to have in the sense of that occasional prompt, hey, breathe.
Right.
You're getting carried away here on this activity or whatever you're doing. So it is nice to have that and to just look and see like, wow, man, my heart rate and my breathing just go really high at this point. I was really going nuts on this. Or it's nice to just see like, you want to get into a zone, you want to get your heart rate to like, hey man, I'm trying to do some fat burning, or I want to just increase my cardio. What range should I be at? There's plenty of data out there, but it's how do you get yourself to that?
Right.
So if you're monitoring in real time, looking on your phone or whatever, that's nice to be able to do that.
Can you set those goals so that it will give you notifications when you get in that heart range or things like that? So
So there are two defaults, the breathing and the heart rate, where one will buzz once, the other will buzz twice if you kind of get into that. So I haven't really dialed into those changes because for me, I'm looking at it and I see that for my workouts, once I get to a certain point, I'm up
where you should be anyway.
And I just kind of maintain and stay in that area. I do like the continuous ECG. I think they're the only ones on the market that have the 24-hour continuous monitoring.
Sure.
You can share that. I can go into the website and share an activity after the fact. So I can share a link to it so you can see that. So if I have a trainer or somebody that wants to kind of help me, maybe I'm preparing for a run or something, they can look at that and go, hey, why don't we push a little harder? Or, after an hour, why don't we dial back a little bit? Because, you're not doing quite as well.
Right.
Your cadence, isn't as good. So it's a really cool device. It's really the first one that I've kind of spent some time with in this kind of new workout part of my life.
Sure.
So I would be, interested to try some other ones. At $4.99, it's a tough ask.
Yeah.
For my needs.
Sure.
But I can see the data being very helpful for people, and people saying, "Wow, I don't get that from just this one from Polar or from somebody else."
Right.
Right now, if you go to the website, you can put in a code to save $100.
Okay.
That's
so they have deals every once in a while.
Yeah, so that's a nice chunk off.
Yeah. What's the battery life like on it?
So I've only had to charge it once.
Okay.
And I've been wearing it for a couple weeks.
Yeah.
And when you turn it on, you can see the battery life. When you pair it up, your phone will show you the battery life, and it's nice.
Yeah.
It's not something I have to worry about. It is micro USB.
Okay.
It comes with a cable, and it's a if it does a 24-hour continuous monitoring, I would imagine it has at least 24 hours of battery.
Right.
So I'm doing these 60 to 90 minutes at a time, and again, I've only had to charge it once over the last 3 or 4 weeks. So I like that a lot.
Right.
I almost to the point where I should probably just get in the habit of doing it.
Sure.
Instead of getting to the point just assuming that it's always going to have that charge.
Right.
But I haven't had anything prompt me to charge it yet.
Right. So. And it has like moisture resistance, sweat resistance kind of stuff.
Yeah. So depending on what I'm doing, I'll get really sweaty. And it will absorb that.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
But it's I could wash this thing off easily.
No problem.
It doesn't hold the moisture. It's one of those things that you can kind of pinch and run your finger along to get out the moisture.
Sure.
And let it air dry the rest of the way.
Sure.
Doesn't stink.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's nice little guy to have.
Right.
But again, that price, and this is where my review qualifications kind of maybe stop.
Sure.
So if you are somebody who is into fitness and really looking for these things, this might be enough to kind of push you in that direction. If you're just looking for something that just says, I want to keep an eye on my heart rate and my breathing, but I don't need all these other deep dive, this will open up and give you a lot of statistics into those things.
Sure.
I'm looking at ECG stuff and I'm like, that looks right.
Right.
And then I see a little weird thing and I'm like, I don't know if that's a murmur.
Sure.
Or what I did in the middle of my workout. So if I look at it and if I start to see anomalies, that's where I might have a concern.
Sure.
But I'm at that point where.
Well, and you have that data so that if you do have the concern, chances are you could go, hey, doc, I've been using this thing and here's what I'm seeing. What does this mean?
I'm getting this more now than I used to.
Sure.
Or, it's only happened one time. Is it something that maybe I did to the band that I hit it?
Right.
Is it something, or after so many minutes of strain or whatever, this starts to happen? Maybe, so it is nice to have that, spit that out as a graph or as just the data too.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the Fourth Frontier is the brand. The Frontier X is the wearable.
Okay.
So I hope that was enough to kind of help steer people in one direction or the other.
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks, Scott.
Thank you.